I kind of see it as we're separate, but we're working towards unity. I feel like the biggest issue with each category of like black people in that diaspora is pride. There's nothing wrong with having pride, but sometimes pride can keep you tunnel visioned. You know, certain countries or certain regions feel like they have more pride than others, and that can cloud their judgment sometimes. Or you just think you're better than some black people. Like African Americans, like black Americans, get no love. They're like the bottom of the bottom of black people in the world. And it's just like they fall for so much in America. They paved the way for us, but they get so much disrespect. And that's from Caribbeans, that's from Africans, that's even from black Europeans. They just get mad disrespect from them. And it's like, but we did this, but where's the unity? Like, even my mother growing up is like, don't be like those black American kids. But I'm like, I am that black American kid. What do you mean? Outside of this house, the world sees me as a black kid. You know, that's it. I'm not a Haitian kid, I'm black. So I always try and give my respect where it's due to all the people who paved the way for me from this country.
So honestly, it's a real weird dynamic because like people that are coming from like traditional like African households in like Nigeria or Ghana or wherever they're from within like the continent, it's like they treat African Americans as like non-Africans. Like, and truthfully we are because we're born in America, but they'll like try to really like disrespect or disconnect because we're experiencing our black identity different, you know? So it's like, even though I'm an African American, like growing up in America, like all the different types of oppression, all the different types of like circumstances I was growing up in, they may not have necessarily been growing up in, but it was a different dynamic within like their households and their communities because it was like a separate like African community and culture. Even on campus, like sometimes the Africans will like sort of like, the black culture because they feel like we're so disconnected from who we are or we don't really understand how to identify ourselves. But it's like, what choice do I have but to say I'm American? Like that's what it is. I am African American, but I can't say I'm African, you know, type shit.
Something new to me, I've heard the term Akata a lot. And from what I understand, it carries different implications. So some people use it casually, like the word nigga, I'm assuming. However, other connotations to that term I've heard can mean slave or cat out of the house. And it's like, I've heard it used as an insult, although I'm sure most of the time it's in use as just a casual reference. And that's like where separations you can see are drawn, or when people have like, they think that black culture doesn't exist, or that black Americans are an issue, or that we're not good enough, or that we're causing our own issues, and assume that they're better than us simply because they've maintained the semblance of culture, or they have their own country, or I don't really know where it comes from. I could just say white supremacy and that self-hate and that lack of actually understanding what people are going through. But I've seen it play out in ways where it definitely seems to affect solidarity and unity, and that's where we need to get things done. I feel like there should be respect between both groups because black Americans have literally survived the greatest travesties and have built this country and changed this country and set up a lot of the structures that allow it to be this way. It wouldn't be rich if it wasn't for us, literally. Dozens and hundreds of inventions. And then clearly like the culture thing confuses me because clearly there's R&B music, rap and hip hop music, blues and jazz and funk, rock and roll music, clothing, talk, swagger. And I feel like that's been transported to Africa as well. So it's like, it's confusing and hurtful, but I feel like it's just, like you said, it's complex. So it's like another layer of disunity and self-hate that we need to work on and try to breach and heal so we can actually move as a full unit, understand we have our differences, but we have our commonalities, and we need to focus on those in order to get things done and to change things.
I feel like it's not that people take nationalism or cultural pride too far, it's just that like people really love to generalize and put things in boxes, and I guess it's just how like humans, we understand each other, but like, come on, like you grew up with these people all of your life and you're treating them like they're less than you, and that's just from everyone. For people who love to consume black media, I'm doing like quotation marks because like black media is many things, like hip hop culture and stuff, you feel so comfortable with othering yourself from black people as a whole, whether that's your Dominican or dark skin, just black. But then like you want to consume it, you know what I mean? Just like, oh, you know, like I'm rocking cornrows, but like you were literally just calling her ghetto the other day for like wearing cornrows. Like, what the hell?
Be that we have to continue to fight. You know, don't be afraid to speak up. I feel like, you know, not coming at you, be like administration, but the people in power, you know, people who have authority, our oppressors always want to keep us quiet and shut us down. They're doing anything to keep us down, but, you know, because of what our ancestors taught us is that if you keep fighting, you're gonna win at the end of the day. So that's what we gotta keep doing, keep fighting, keep going and going harder and stronger than ever. And yes, it's great to have that pride, but when we put all our pride together, that's an immense, enormous amount of pride, unity that we have, and we can change the world forever.
I feel I say a lot of things well, but I'm gonna let the elders say this one better. For Asada Shakur, the Asada Shakur chant, it is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love and support each other. We have nothing to lose but our chains. Peace.